Welcome to Redvee TV's Instant Fan Reaction, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season, following St Helens' 42-0 derby victory over the Wigan Warriors reserve team this evening at the
Whoa. I'm not having this. I've seen this come through on social media. Reserves, under 23s, under 19s. I'm not having that. They've got first team numbers on the back. That's a first team squad. They might not be first choice, but the first team, pack that in.
Okay. Well, the record books will show that was Saints' record margin of victory in Super League, beating the previous, I think it was 57-16 at Magic 2008. So it's in the books, Kevin. It's a record margin of victory. And another statistic and another nilling to add to our bow. I have to say, regardless of what opposition was out there, I thought we were very, very professional throughout.
I think that's a good word to describe it. I think we were on a hiding to nothing, weren't we, tonight? You don't put a big score on them and questions are asked. You put a big score on them and it's obviously, well, they didn't have the first choice squad out. So to go out there and be professional, I don't think it was necessarily the best that we could play. But to go out there, be professional, be good in defence with a good attitude, there are still plenty of positives to take from it. I'm saying that, we just nil Wigan, plenty of positives to take from it. This is because it doesn't feel like a proper derby day.
I think that's the thing. It's hard to be excited. It just feels like, I don't know, a contractually obligated affair for me. A Tuesday night, none of us are there. It didn't feel like a derby. For me, normally beating Wigan by 42, you'd be living on that for weeks. This year, it just feels like, I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, we're quickly moving on to like the next games as well. We're going to have got one in a couple of days' time, haven't they? It's at 6 o'clock tonight. I'm stood making me tea in the kitchen. On a normal derby day, I'd have been either in Wigan or in St Helens, building up for the derby, bit of atmosphere, meeting up with our mates from both sets of fans, like planning on what we're going to do after the game. And as you say, it's just, I don't know, there's just been a downer on it. I think we actually got tweeted before the game as well, saying that the enthusiasm looked like it had gone out of us in the preview show. And to some extent it has, because you're not going the game, if you're not kind of going through all the emotions of watching two as full strength as they can be teams battling it out in a proper derby fixture, it's always going to be that little bit flat for the fan, isn't it?
Yeah, and listen, I don't even want to go into Wigan's squad selection too much. At the end of the day, that was from a Wigan point of view, that was the professional thing to do. Their semi-final on Saturday far outweighs the importance of a few percentage points. So if it had been the other way around, I would have expected us to do exactly the same, and would have been angry if it didn't. And to be fair, those Wigan kids that they put out there, the lads from Wigan, they can play rugby, they play well, and they give us a test. Obviously, we obviously went on to win the game comfortably, but first 10-15 minutes, they throw the kitchen sink at you.
Yeah, and that's it. It was a clever pick by Lamb, by putting in quite a few pack players who have been round. I mean, you see the likes of Joe Greenwood going in there, who isn't an automatic first choice at Wigan. But they've got experience, so they had enough experience in the pack, and they could kind of, that first, as you say, 10 minutes, just stayed with us. I thought that there were times in that first 10 minutes where we kind of let ourselves down again, a couple of six again, that we just keep giving away. But yeah, fair play to him for sticking in, but I don't think there was a point in that game where we were seriously worried about losing it, even at any point. Even if Wigan had have gone over and scored first, I wouldn't have been worried about losing that game.
Now, obviously, the news has emerged about Mark Percival probably going to miss the rest of the year. He's even tweeted that he'll be back in 2021. The lad just doesn't get a break, does he? That was a massive, massive blow for us.
It was, but it's good that we've got to the bottom of it rather than just keep trying to put him out there, give him a couple of weeks off and then try and throw him back in and him keep doing this and then possibly doing himself more and more harm. That he says he'll be back in 2021. Hopefully that'll be the start of the season rather than a good couple of rounds in. Let's face it, the season will probably not be as we all want it to be, but you still don't want him coming in round 8 to 10. And that's when he's getting fit.
That'll be about next October.
Yeah, well, it probably would be, but that's it. But if we kept just trying to make him carry on and play, then yeah, it's such a shame for him. I mean, it does then open up opportunities. Josh Sim coming in and not doing very much wrong as well. He was only dropped from the cup game because, as Christian Wolf said, Matt Percival's got that many runs on the board that he deserves to go straight back in. Yeah,
and from that disappointment with Matt Percival, you're right, Josh Sim does now get that opportunity, and I thought he went well again tonight. I think he's a little bit cursed. He keeps getting given the ball forward. I think he thought he was in again at the end. You've seen him look to the heavens, didn't you?
Yeah, I genuinely think he's either not going to score a try all season, or when he gets his first one, he's going to score 4 or 5 in a game because they're all just going to come at once.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be next week against Wakefield. I think our style of play at the moment, we're not spreading it out to the backs maybe as much as we should, or we would expect until later in games when the game is won. Is that a tactic that we're pursuing? Obviously, taking it down the middle and grinding teams down that way before then trying to be expansive late on?
Yeah, possibly so. As you say, the kind of the professional thing of I don't know, winning. They'll call it winning the middle. I think we said a couple of years ago we never wanted to hear the phrase middles again. But not only that, is that something to do with missing the likes of Mark Percival and missing Tommy Makinson on the other side, and almost letting the lads who are filling in for them bed into the team and kind of get a feel for it before we start trying to put it about again. Don't get me wrong, I think Christian Wolf is potentially a more conservative coach when it comes to the playing style than Justin Holbrook was. But yeah, it could be down to that as well.
Next youngster, Lewis Dodd, the eagerly easy for you to say, the eagerly awaited debut came this evening. I would have been tempted, given that Wigan side put out, to have gone with him from the start. Again, we've probably been a little conservative in the way we've introduced him. He's only been given 25 minutes. And even then, it wasn't in his preferred position at halfback. Was that simply a case of maybe just to give James Roby a break and allow him, again, just to bed in slowly and just get his hands on the ball a little bit?
Yeah, listen, it's probably about getting him minutes. Going in at hooker as well, which, as you say, isn't his usual position. Making him get through some tackles, almost trying to push his fitness up a little bit, possibly. That he's had to do a lot of work in that 25 minutes. And being at hooker, he probably has possibly a little bit more license than your halfbacks because he's not set in kind of a structured way. But that's it. What you say is right. Should we have given him more game time at 7? I don't think we'd have learnt an awful lot last night. And I will say to fans who are clamouring for him to be put in, please don't expect to end up with Sean Long straight off the bat and him just play the next 100 games for Saints at that level. It won't happen.
I think that's what worries me, Kev.
Yeah.
We know he's a talent. We know he's a massive talent. But he also seems to be getting built up massively by, say, like the Sky commentary team before he's done it. We've seen in the past where we've had young players who have been lauded probably earlier than they deserve to be because they haven't actually done it in the first team. So, listen, I'm sure Lewis Dodd, hopefully, is going to go on to be everything we expect him and want him
Yeah,
to be. But he's
yeah,
still got to go out
absolutely.
there and prove that, and it will take time.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You just want the lad to be left to play his game. That's it. Just going back to what I was saying, that there's a lot of frustration that we didn't play him at 7 and we didn't give him longer at 7. I know Christian Wolf says our halfbacks have got, again, they've probably got the runs on the board and they're not necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just something different, putting Lewis Dodd in there, kind of the unknown, the fact that he's probably slightly different type of player than Theo and Johnny Lomax. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't get longer, but you've got to defer to the coaching staff and say, listen, they want to bring him into the first team gradually and get him up to speed. But hasn't he been up to speed for a couple of weeks? He's been going to make his debut 3 or 4 times. Where's he been going to make that at hooker? I'm not sure that that's right. I'm not sure that it's what I want to see anyway, whether it's right.
Right, the refereeing of that game tonight, Ben Fowler had it. How many 6 agains do we give away in a match? It must have been about 20 sets, repeat sets that we give away, and I think we got about 1 in return. I thought it was refereed a little bit oddly. I want to go back to something you said earlier about when I was joking at the start about reserves, and you were saying if they're good enough to have a squad number, they're first team players. So there was one instance in that second half where one of the Wigan young lads smacks Louis in the chops. Louis responds in kind by tapping him on his head and basically telling him to where to go. And Ben Fowler calls Louis out and tells him to show the Wigan player some respect. And I thought that's a really, really odd thing for a referee to be doing. At the end of the day, if you're playing in a first team game and you're smacking someone in the face, expect them to respond in kind.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, I'm not going to go down the route of bagging Thaler or anything like that, or I'm going to try not to. But that's it. But it is strange. It is strange to see that the lads. He's not just come out the crowd and never played rugby before. He knows. He will know what he's doing. And listen, they might be trying to get underneath somebody like Louis Skin, who they might, whether they target him or not, or try and wind him up because he is one of them characters. Possibly so. I'm not sure that it needed to be said by Thaler. Going to the 6 agains, we need to smarten up that. We need to take that out to the refs. The refs almost remit of giving them. There was one that 31 minutes and Morgan Knowles give one away, and I'm not having that as a 6 again. If we're going to have 6 agains for that, you'll have one on every single set, and you'll just end up piggybacking teams down the field until somebody either scores or makes a mistake and the other team get the ball. Again, I'm not whinging about it. I want to see, or I want to know the reasoning behind some of them. And if that's what the ref sees, fair enough. Just obviously score the points that takes the game away from that being an influence.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit one-sided every single week. I'm watching us, and I don't think we're doing anything worse than anybody else. I've said this before. I think it's a subconscious thing. We were playing a young side last night, and is it a subconscious thing to help them through the game to keep the score not respectable? But you can influence the game as a referee. You can referee it how you like, and it seemed to be that to try to make it more of a contest. I don't know. I don't think it's deliberate. I just think it's a subconscious thing, that an unconscious bias, if you will.
Maybe he has done it to protect players. I think that'd be the thing, just to make sure that the younger lads that we keep getting told about that got through the game okay. On saying that, the yellow card in the first half, at least it wasn't a case of, oh, listen, just watch yourself and calm down. There's contact to the head, and he's given a yellow card for it. So I've not got too much bad to say about Ben Thaler's performance last night.
Okay, I think we are done and dusted, Kev. We've just beat Wigan 42-0. Let's look happy.
Yeah, that's it. I'll just bring one up. Saw quite a bit on social media tonight as well, and before the game about Matty Lees, and people just saying that he wasn't playing as well as he was like last season. I just think that our fans could cut him a little bit of slack. I tried watching him a little bit tonight. It's obviously difficult with the watching it on telly and not being there, because you can only watch what they show you. You can't watch what he's doing off the ball. But Matty Lees last year had an injury that was likened to a car crash. I actually found a quote from Justin Holbrook just before we started filming, which said they had to take out his intestines to find where the leak was. Now, that's 13 months ago. He's only a young lad. Maybe it's a bit of crisis of confidence after it. And I know it's 13 months ago, but maybe he has got that in the back of his mind. Hopefully, we can get him through that and he'll come good again. But at the minute, just cut the lad a bit of slack.
Yeah, quite right. We all know the talent is there. He's demonstrated that.
He could probably do with putting a bit of beef on.
Again, that's probably related to the injury a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll come.
So just, it will.
So what we're saying, Kev, is he can come round our house for a Sunday lunch.
No, I'm not feeding him. He's massive.
Right. Thanks for joining us, Kev. Let's go celebrate. Thanks for everyone who watches. I don't know where I'm going with that then. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you next week for a Redvee preview show. Catch you later.